In this exercise, we're going to be creating the base plate, which is figure 3-52, and we're going to be starting out with a part, initial step. And so once you're into the design space, you're going to click on Start 2D Sketch, and we're going to be picking the XY plane to start out. So we're going to be creating a rectangle that's going to be 8.5 inches long and 5 inches tall. So I'm just going to start here at the center point, and I'm just going to do 8. Then I'm going to do the tab key and then do 5. Then tab again because I didn't do the 8.5, so it's 8.50. Then tab, then 5. So I'm going to zoom out so I can see it. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to finish the sketch. And I'm going to extrude. And we're just going to go with 0.25 for the thickness. And I'm going to hit OK. Alright, so next we're going to do another sketch on the face of it. And this time I'm going to cut out the square in the middle. So I'm just going to go with a rectangle that's going to be 3x3. So 3 tab 3. That'd be a little hard to see. And because it is, we're going to center it. So we got to figure out how far we need to center it from left to right and up and down. So that means that we need to take 8.5 and subtract 3 from it and divide by 2. So that's roughly about 2.75. So we'll see how that actually works. Yeah. So by us having it on the other side, it's not going to let us put that one. All right, so we need to center it vertically as well. So it is 5 inches tall. This square is 3. So that leaves 2. So it's an inch. Center it this way. And by us putting that one there, it's being 3 inches around. We're having our 2.75 here. And we can quickly do a little math on that just to make sure that we are correct. So we're going to do the 8.50 and minus 3. So that's 5.50 divided by 2, which is 2.75. So I think our math is mathing. All right, so we're going to extrude. We're going to cut it. I'm going to hit OK. And I'm going to put a new sketch on the surface. And this time I'm going to cut out the 2 rectangles on the side. So they are 0.75 wide and 2 inches tall. And because they are kind of centered off of the other square, they're an inch away. So we just got to make sure that we center it vertically. So that's 5 minus 2, that's 3, divided by 2, that give us 1.5 inches. So that's 1.50. And we'll do the same thing on the opposite side. And I'm just going to line up with this point here. And then I'm going to make my square here. So it's going to be 0.75, tab, and 2. And then after I do that, all I really got to do is just put a measurement between here and here and make it 1. So these two should be aligned together since I bounced off of that one. But just to make sure, we can use what's called a parallel constraint on it. So giving me my tip here. All right, so those two are parallels. Wasn't really giving a good visual on that. All right, so we're gonna extrude those two to cut. And I'm gonna hit OK. All right, so now comes the tricky part, which is putting our corners in. So I'm gonna do something we haven't done before, which is use a work plane. But I'm gonna do it after I make the first one. Well, in fact, I'll do it before. So I'm gonna take what's called a work plane, and I'm gonna click on this edge. I'm gonna hold my mouse down, and I'm gonna drag it over to the center. So the center of 8.5 is 4 1/4. So since it's a negative number, you just do negative 4.25. It's gonna put a work plane right down the middle. And I'm gonna do the same thing from the top going down. And this time I'm gonna put in negative 2.50. If I can get it right on the line, right on the number, then I don't have to worry about typing it. All right, so those two work planes are going to come in handy for a reason. It's because it's going to allow us to mirror a one. We can do one cut, and then we can just mirror it. So I'm going to do a start 2D sketch, and I'm going to do a line. From yeah. Okay, so I'm going to do a line from here over to here. And this one has a measurement on it, so it's 2 1/4 from the edge to the tip of the line. So that's 2.25. And then it has a 30-degree angle on it. So the 30-degree angle is between here and here. So those are really the only two numbers that we need. Now to make sure that it actually cuts, I'm gonna go ahead and close it up with another line, a couple of lines here. And then I'm going to finish sketching. I'm gonna put it in isometric. I'm gonna extrude. I'm gonna put it on cut. I'm gonna hit OK. Now, instead of doing that all over, I'm just simply gonna mirror it. So I'm gonna use the mirror tool somewhere up in here. Oh, there it is. All right, mirror. And I'm gonna pick extrusion 4. And then I'm gonna pick a mirror plane, which is that one. And it's gonna mirror it over to the other side. And I'm gonna hit OK. Now, this time I'm gonna mirror again, but I'm gonna choose both of them. So I'm gonna mirror. I'm gonna choose extrusion 4 and mirror number 1. And I'm gonna pick a mirror plane. And I'm gonna choose this one. And hit OK. So that technically is the finished object. All right, so we can hide our work planes. So we can uncheck visibility. And that cleans it up. They won't show up on the drawing anyway, but it's always good to hide them. All right, so we're going to save it. It's going to be a part file. And it's going to be figure 3-52. Make sure you do a dash and not a slash. And I'm going to do a save. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start my standard IGW sheet. And I'm going to bring it in using base. And since it's only a single view, I'm just going to put it here in the middle. And hit OK. And I'll put my representation of it up in the corner by clicking once, right mouse clicking, and hitting create. All right, so now on the actual drawing, it does have a couple of center lines running down through it, but technically they're not really supposed to, don't necessarily need them, but only for dimensioning purposes. So I'm gonna go ahead and put them. In fact, I'm gonna use centerline bisector. And it's gonna make it easier to place these. And I don't have to stretch them all the way out, but far enough. All right, so that'll give us our center lines that we need. All right, so as far as dimensioning wise, we're just gonna use the ones that are already on here. So I'm gonna do the angle dimension first because that's probably why a lot of people have some issues. So we're gonna do that, and we're gonna pull this one out. And then I'm just go ahead and do the rest of them. All right, so in Inventor, you're gonna get these increments. I typically like to go to the second or third one, just to kind of get almost like a half an inch away from the object itself. Now you don't need to put one way out here. It's sort of giving you the increments that you need for it. And you do your alignment. We'll do the 3. And technically, we'll just go to the side of it, SQ. Hit OK. And it'll put the square next to it. Then we'll do one with the 1 inch. And the 3/4. And the 2 inches. Alright, so sometimes you have to move these. If they're like on top of something, you can always move them and stagger their numbers. So everything's not in the same place. Alright, so at the bottom here we have a 2 1/4. It goes to this point. And then we have an 8.5 overall dimension. Like so. And I think that is, oh, we missed one. We need the 5 inch. All right, So I do believe that's all of them. All right, so next you have your title block information. We'll just leave this on a D size sheet. I'll see what it looks like on a C size. It may actually fit. Well, let's see. Yeah, it'll fit. So we don't have to use that big sheet for this. We'll turn my shading on here. All right, so next come your title block information, which is very important. Top left to bottom right, hold your mouse button down. While you're doing that, second and the fifth button. And all right, and the second one, same thing. Second and the fifth button. DS52 base plate. And I'm gonna highlight this one. We'll make it bold. And we'll make it 0.24. Just so it kind of stands out. All right, as far as your name, see some of you haven't really figured out or learned how to change that yet. So if you go to File, go to Our Properties, then go to Summary tab, you can change your name. So it'll be your student ID number that says change it there. Hit close and then that's it. All right, so the last step is to turn it in. And I'm going to, before I do that, I'm going to move this number over a little bit so it's not sitting on top of that center line. All right, so one of the last things to do is to export as a PDF. And it picks up the file name and we hit save. And it doesn't blink or anything, but that's it. All right, so that is figure 3-52, which is the base plate.